The Nintendo Switch is known for having some pretty expensive games, especially in the JRPG genre. Today, I thought we'd compile a list of games that are both affordable and received well by players. To make today's list, games must average under $20 complete in box and have a Metacritic rating of at least 70. Join us as we look at 7 Switch JRPGs that won't break the bank or your heart. Let's get into it. Chris Tales was released in July 2021. Developed by indie Colombian studio Dreams Uncorporated and released by Modus Games, it is a lovely homage to JRPG classics like Chrono Trigger and Persona. The game features an interesting time travel mechanic that allows you to see and change events in the past to affect the future. The game draws heavily on Colombian culture and architecture. The art is stunningly beautiful, the story deep and meaningful, and the nostalgia it elicits is real. It received a lot of praise on release, though some found the combat to be a weak point. It offers 20 to 30 hours of engaging gameplay and received a 72 aggregate score on Metacritic. For an average price tag of only $10 complete in box, there are few titles that can compare in the gameplay for money department. Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch was released in 2013 on the PS3 in the West. It is a greatly enhanced version of the original game on the Nintendo DS. The game was released for Switch in 2019. The sequel, Revenant Kingdom, was released for the PS4 and Windows in 2018 and the Switch in 2021. The games are beloved for bringing together many of the best features and tropes of role-playing games as a whole. The beautiful art and music was produced by an all-star cast consisting of not only folks from Level 5, but the team over at Studio Ghibli. A film adaptation was also released in Japan and localized in the West to Netflix. The story in the first game focuses on Oliver, who loses his mother immediately after she saves him from drowning. His tears bring his doll to life, which just so happens to be a fairy from a magical land that is under assault. Drippy the fairy explains Oliver's mother looks a lot like a famous sage who has been abducted, and they set out to save her in hopes it could somehow bring back his mother. The second game focuses on Evan, a young king who has been usurped and must try to regain his kingdom with a traveler from another world at his side. The focus on youth, coming of age, and how children deal with grief and view the world makes the narrative unique, sad, and charming. Coming in at $20 and $14 respectively complete in box makes the purchase of both games well worth the nearly 200 hours of possible playtime to be had with such a wonderful and well-done franchise. Temtem was released in early access on Steam by Spanish studio Crema and Humble Bundle in 2020. The Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch versions had all been released by 2022. It's a massively multiplayer online game styled after Pokemon. It had a successful Kickstarter campaign in the beginning, and after its release, sold 500,000 units on Steam in the first month. It was sticking it to Pokemon before Pal World had even started its engines. You play as a novice Temtem trainer, you guessed it, who is fighting an evil organization very similar to Team Rocket, Clan Belsodo. You travel the 6 floating islands, fighting your Temtem against other players and NPCs Temtem in 2x2 battles. The creature designs are done very well, with some being cute and ridiculous, while others are truly majestic and beautiful beasts. The gameplay is simple and fun, easy to learn, and addictive. With a 76 Metacritic rating and only a $16 price tag for a complete in-box copy, Temtem is a tempting alternative to Pokemon for many fans of creature collection RPGs. Indivisible was developed by Lab Zero Games and released in October 2019 by 505 Games on Steam, PS4, and Xbox One. The game released the next spring on the Nintendo Switch. The game has an interesting mechanic where overworld exploration is in the form of a 2D platformer, and upon touching an enemy, it switches to a sort of action RPG. Each character in the party is controlled with a different button, and directional inputs change the attacks. The story follows a young girl out for revenge after her father is killed. As is standard fare, her and her party discover there is much more to the world and their current situation than they originally thought. The game is heavily influenced by Valkyrie Profile, and Zero Labs members were known for the acclaimed fighting game Skullgirls. The animation is beautifully hand-drawn and inspired by Southeast Asian culture and mythology. Hiroki Kikuta of Secret of Mana fame composed the game's incredible soundtrack. Coming in at $16 complete in box and with a Metacritic score of 79, Indivisible is perfect for a shorter, eye-catching weekend playthrough. Shin Megami Tensei 3 was originally released in Japan in 2003. Due to its popularity, it became the first SMT mainline game to be released in the West when the director's cut was selected for localization the next year. In 2021, a remaster of Nocturne was released worldwide for PS4 and Switch. If you've played a Persona or SMT game, you'll be familiar with the gameplay. Demon negotiation and fusion are present as always. The difficulty in the original title could be rather unforgiving at times, and an easier difficulty known as Merciful Mode was added into the remaster. The game follows a silent protagonist who is caught in an apocalyptic event when a cult transforms the world into the Vortex, where demons run free and a terrible power looks to stop the stagnation of the world and have it reborn. There are multiple endings depending on your actions, which see the world reborn in different ways. The character designs and world are done in a stunning, cel-shaded fashion. The music is once again composed by the brilliant Shoji Meguro. Dante from the DMC series and Raidu from the SMT Devil Summoner appear as guest characters in the game as well. With a 75 Metacritic score, a $19 price tag, and up to 100 hours of gameplay on offer, this game is a devilish deal for the budget-conscious gamer. Collection of Mana was released in Japan in 2017 and North America in 2019 for the Nintendo Switch. It includes Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, and Trials of Mana. This marks the first time the latter title is available in the West. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the series and the tight, real-time combat that it offers. The visuals are on point and beautiful as usual for a Square title, and look better than ever presented here. The music is lovely, with the talents of Kenji Ito and Hiroki Kikuta on full display here. Many will find this collection to be especially fulfilling, as like myself, they may not have had the chance to enjoy Final Fantasy Adventure on the Game Boy or Trials of Mana. Experiencing these for the first time made the purchase well worth it. Going for only $19 for a complete in-box copy, this collection is an absolute steal for the hours of enjoyment one can get out of it. I would even go as far as saying it's the best value on this list. Do yourself a favor and pick this one up today. Labyrinth of Zangetsu was released in Japan in 2022 and worldwide in 2023 for the Nintendo Switch. Developed by Acquire, known for their work on Octopath Traveler, Way of the Samurai, and Tenchu, the game is a dungeon crawler RPG. It brings back great nostalgia for dungeon crawling titles of old, while adding in a brilliant, dark, and beautiful ink brush art style and aesthetic. The monster designs and dungeon backgrounds are of special note, as they are simply breathtaking. The story follows your group of conscripted warriors from all walks of life and fighting styles, fighting off the ink of ruin that has befallen Edo, Japan. I have not had a chance to try this one out yet, but it seems to pique my interest more than most of the other titles on the list. With a newer used copy going for around $20 and a Metacritic score of 76, it feels like it may be time for some dungeon diving. Well, that about wraps up our list of 7 Switch JRPGs that offer tremendous value for their affordable price. Can you think of any other great Switch JRPGs that you can cop on the cheap? Let us know in the comments. The engagement in the comments section has been great, so keep it coming. Do you like what we're doing here? Why not drop us a subscription, a like on the video, and share it with your friends? It would really help the channel. Also, follow us on Twitter for more Switch and game collecting goodness. As always, thank you for watching, and stay creepy!